What is up, everyone? Gamer Life Studio here, back at it with another hot take. In this video, we're going to be talking about next-gen consoles, but focusing in and looking at Xbox next-gen console that's supposedly going to be coming out in 2027. But the real question here is, what about those games are going to be releasing on that next-gen console? You probably want to know. I got answers, so stick around and find out. Okay, I know it probably sounds cringe, but hey, look, don't judge me. I'm just trying to do something new here. Okay, but before we get into the video, make sure you like, share, comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I really do appreciate that. I'm trying to get my subscriber numbers up to at least 300. That's my goal for the end of the year. If we can get further than that, that would be like amazing. But please, I really do appreciate that. That's all I care about. But without further ado, let's get started with the video itself. And you know how we do around here, okay? We're gonna start from the top, work our way down, give you all the context, and then at the end of the video, you're gonna have your answer, okay? But you need to listen to all of it, so then that way you get the understanding what I'm talking about and what's going on here, okay? There's a lot to get into, right? So first thing first is, let's start off with a clown first. Remember this clown? Yeah, Dreamcast guy, the clown. The clown that sits there says Xbox was dead. Xbox got no games. Xbox is not making a console. Well, let's hear what this clown has to say. Let's go, blow it up here so we can all hear this with our own ears. Okay, I always like to start off with clowns because these clowns are funny. Like, they sit there and act and pretend like they know they play games, These people are just nothing but grifters. They don't talk about video games, and they ain't doing shit. They're just saying a bunch of bullshit that doesn't mean anything. It's just a bunch of wasted dead air. But let's hear this clown, what he has to say. I just find it to be funny.
Absolutely gonna do it. I'm making this prediction on January 12th, 2026. There will not be a next-gen Xbox. They may talk about it, they may rumor about it, they may talk about how excited they are for next-gen. There will not be a next-gen Xbox.
You heard it here. You heard it. He said he made a prediction. He said there's not going to be a next-gen Xbox. Well, I'm sorry, Dreamcast guy. Keep dreaming, okay? I don't know how you making these Xbox dev videos, these PlayStation videos and all this shit, but look, man, you sound like a grifter because you absolutely is fucking wrong. But it's hilarious. It's funny. Oh my god. But we have our answer right here, because guess what? AMD CEO suggested next gen Xbox will be launching in 2027. Well, I guess the Dreamcast guy prediction was wrong. Absolutely wrong. And then it says right here, the premium console chip is progressing well. So pretty much it's on the way. So that's progressing very well. It's on the way, right? And I believe Steam, before we get into the main stuff, but Steam right here is also going to be releasing their console this year. However, they stumble into a roadblock of sort because they have made a post onto their thing, say Steam Machine and the Steam Frame and the Steam Console Controller update. We have work to do to land a pricing and launch date. So pretty much they are still going to plan and continue launching in 2026, but it might get pushed back a bit, until when they land a pricing and a launch date. So that's what they're working on, because of the fact that we already know the AI stuff, the RAM prices. I think we already know what's been going on, right? They've been losing a lot of money, right? Nvidia, including Microsoft, right? And yeah, it's just a bunch of these, you know, corporations losing a lot of money, you know, with the AI bubble and all this stuff. So Valve is also involved, you know, with tariffs and stuff like that, right? So, and manufacturing costs. So this is no surprise. So I think I'm pretty much sure that these consoles, like, they probably already built, ready to go. It's just the fact that it's just pricing and shipping is where the problem is. That's pretty much where they at. Okay, I think they already got the RAM and stuff. They already got it already built. It looks like it's pretty much ready to go. It doesn't look like it's in beta stage. A lot of people are saying like, oh, it's going to get delayed until like way out, like next year. I don't think so. I think they just really, you know, taking a step back, seeing what they can do, and then they're going to price it and get it where they need to be at for this to be, you know, selling, right? So, but it doesn't change the plan. They still want to release this in 2026 for sure, right? So I wanted to add this right here before we get into the main stuff, right? So we know that it's going to be coming out in 2027, and we know Steam is also going to be coming out this year, launching in 2026. But due to, like, again, the pricing, the launch dates, that's what they're going to be working on. Other than that, the hardware is already put together and everything ready to go. But that's just the tip of it. But here's the real interesting part is this is like a pattern that I see where this whole thing is happening. Because if you really sit here and think about it for a minute, right? The Nintendo Switch 2 launch when? In 2025, right? It launches in 2025, June 2025 to be specifically, right? I think it was June 5th, 2025. Yeah, I could be wrong, but it was launching in 2025, right? And then we know that Steam, this is going to still be launching, or plans still to be launched in 2026. Okay, so they already got it built. It probably already has it manufactured. Everything seems to be ready to go. It's just like, again, like I said before, with the whole, you know, pricing, RAM, the tariffs and stuff. I think that's what they're mostly worried about. But the system itself is already probably most likely is built. So we know that. However, that AMD confirms next gen Xbox for 2027. Okay, so we know we starting to see a pattern here, and then when you start to go towards PlayStation, right? PlayStation 6 is most likely launching after 2028, and it could be pushed back even further till 2029 or even 2030. So PlayStation is not going to be launching anything anytime soon. We'll get to a little bit of the news for this before we move on. But if you notice, like, again, if you see the patterns that you got 1 year, you know, this system right here for Nintendo, 2025 was Nintendo's year in 2025, that whole year. And then now we got Steam is going to release their console, their system this whole year in 2026. We don't know when, whether it's early or later. They're still planning on releasing it. So this is Valve and their Steam stuff is going to release during this whole year in 2026. That leads me to believe that, again, this might hold true, because even if AMD is confirming that next gen consoles for 2027, right? So we know, we've seen this too, because, like, again, I made videos in the past that with the FTC case, there's plenty of videos that I made about it. If you want to go back and go watch it, I'll make sure I either put the title card at the end of this video if you want to go back and listen to the things and the documents that I was talking about. But I'm not going to beat yourself to death with this. However, I'm just staying focused here. So we're going to see that basically Xbox is going to be a whole year for Xbox in 2027, right? And we see that PlayStation is going to be dead last, right? It's funny how they sell the most consoles, but yet they're going to be in last place in terms of making a console. I find that to be funny because it seems to me that they're pretty much in a rough spot or a rough patch. Like, again, if they selling a lot of consoles, right, doing a lot of this, you'd be expecting or looking at PlayStation, Sony at a higher expectations, saying, well, they selling a lot of consoles, they got a lot of this, a lot of that, blah blah blah, right? Then why they're not releasing their console first, but Xbox is? And Xbox is like last place, they're dead, and all these people making all of these videos and stuff. It just doesn't make any sense, right? But then if we look at the evidence here, it seems to me that Sony PlayStation are in a rough patch as it is, given the fact that we see right here in the state of play. Now hear me out on this. This is a little bit of PlayStation news here, but I believe that I think the reason why they are going to release it in 2029 or 2030 is because that there's two things here that's going on here, and there's also other things that I think they're also working on. I'm not going to talk about spec wise in terms of power and all this stuff. I want to look at more focus on the games that they have shown in this state of play. If you notice, if you take a look at this for a minute here, if you notice something, there's a pattern here, right? Just like we've seen the pattern of all of this stuff, 2025, right? Steam is going to be 2026, right? Xbox 2027, and PlayStation is either 2028 or even after, like 2029, 2030, so like way later, right? But in the state of play here, what they shown was that there's a lot of games that looks like it could run on a PlayStation handheld, right? God of War, Sons of Spartan looks like a game that is not really made for the PlayStation 5 Pro or even the base PlayStation 5. You know what this game is really made for? Was made for the PS6 handheld. And I think what they're trying to do for the next couple of years leading up to there, so from starting now leading up towards PS6, when they get their handheld, they're trying to build a library of here's PlayStation 6 title games ready to go on the handheld. So this, it looks like, is ready for PS6 on the handheld, right? Kenna Scar, I'm probably gonna butcher it, but Kenna 2 right here looks like it could run on a PS6 handheld, right? Sorrows could look like a game that could run on a PS6 handheld, right? We got the God of War Trilogy remake, looks like a game that could run on a PS6 handheld, right? Just like Marvel Tokon looks like a game that could definitely run on the PS6 handheld. It looks like to me that Sony is trying to prepare themselves for PS6 in the future with libraries of games. And not only that, they're trying to condition the PlayStation gamers as a whole, like as a community in general. They're trying to condition them to play different types of games because, like, again, if you notice in this state of play, yes, with the third party and stuff like that, but if you actually look at this, they're putting out games like 2D side scrolling God of War. This is not like a single player God of War, type of game, or like God of War 1 game, right? Or Ghost of Sparta type of game on PSP. This is a side scrolling 2D 2.5-ish game. Okay? And if you notice that they're putting out games that normally doesn't really fit in the PlayStation ecosystem like how it was like back in PlayStation 4. So I'm pretty sure, I think from now moving on forward, they're trying to condition and make people like, hey, we're not going to just be the PlayStation single player game, action adventure game, whatever, right? They don't want to be like that, because it seems to me that the sales for these action adventure games are getting really tiresome. So I think what they're trying to do is trying to condition the PlayStation fan base and the audience on that platform to kind of branch off and play different types of games. Like you can see 2D side scrolling here, Marvel Tokon, right? That's going to be at Evo, and right, Sony owns Evo and stuff like that. So it seems to me that the next couple of state of plays, they are going to try to branch out a little bit away from AAA games and the typical story base, and get them to, to play something a little bit different out of their comfort zone, that they offer more variety of their games rather than just this single player action adventure over the shoulder type of stuff. So be expecting more state of plays are going to be something like this along the lines. I'm just throwing it out there, just saying, which is a good thing. I think they need to do that because, like, again, you got to have different types of style of games, different types of stuff that people can play other than just a, third person over the shoulder, type of stuff. Like, I think people are getting a little bit tired of that. They want to see something new, something fresh, something a little bit different. So I think, like, again, it's going to take time, like over time, it's going to take time. But I think that's what they're trying to do to get themselves prepared for launch for the PlayStation 6. That's what they're trying to do. So right now, Sony looks like they're just cleaning up their mess, and they're going to play the long game and saying, okay, we're going to prep ourselves and prepare ourselves for PlayStation 6 with games and stuff and titles and have things ready to go. So I think this is just one step out of many steps that they're going to be working on. But back to Xbox here for a minute, right? So we know that the next gen console is going to be right around the corner. It's going to be coming out in 2027, right? So if we look at right here, new Xbox console won't be released until at least late 2027, could be delayed further, right? But I'm pretty sure, I don't think it's not going to delay any further, because again, Microsoft and AMD officially enters in a new multi-year partnership, right, with the Xbox hardware. And I believe as well, she also I believe, not her, but specifically, but I believe Microsoft and the Xbox has some sort of secure deal with the RAM situation, what's going on. Unlike how when we go back to here, right, it seems like they don't have a secure supply line of RAM and stuff. They don't have it, but they're trying to work on that. So then that way, when they do get a somewhat idea or secure plan of producing, more Steam Decks or controllers or these, at least they got some type of pricing and also shipping line ready to go. So then when they get a release date, they know where they're going to ship it at. They know what the price is going to be. At least they got, something along those lines. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, like, they don't have like a secure, like, in terms of RAM, this, that, or chips. So they're trying to get that in order to make sure that's all ready to go before they say, okay, we're going to put a pricing for it, and then we're going to schedule it at this date. So that's pretty much it. But I'm pretty sure, like, again, they already have that. Xbox has already secured that deal, and I'm pretty sure even PlayStation is working on that as well, or probably already have. So I'm pretty sure they're working on it. However, I did hear rumors about that PlayStation might do a price hike on their PlayStation 5. So they're trying their best not to, but I'm pretty sure they're probably going to raise the price again for the PS5. So don't be surprised, PS6 is going to be somewhat even more expensive later on down the road. So it's going to be a very interesting thing to see. But focusing back on Xbox, again, they already have things already in place, right? And we already know that, with the whole situation, that this AI bubble that's being burst, basically wiping out 40 trillion from there, and that's like other multiple companies and stuff like that, which is crazy. I'm like, god damn, like, hey, that's some crazy stuff, right? So there's that, right? They're suffering, right? Just as much as any other company, right? Valve is feeling it, right? Microsoft is feeling it. PlayStation, I know they're feeling it, and especially I know Nintendo is also feeling it as well, because they might go up on the price as well too. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how they're going to play this out. However, since we already know that next gen console is going to be coming up, and we got evidence here to show some proof here, right? Let's go take a look at this one. I think this one is going to be very interesting. This one was about 3 months ago, right? So let's go hear this real quick. Let's go blow this up.
Your streamable game.
This is Microsoft Building 87.
In an exclusive peelback of the development process,
This is the 3D printing lab.
ooh, Xbox President Sarah Bond shows me their labs.
This is where the team is actually designing, prototyping, and testing for the next generation of Xbox.
So this
Do you hear that? So they're designing and testing for the next gen Xbox. So basically, if we got that already in the bag, so basically, if we go back here, which they already said right here, where they already did a official entering into a multi-year partnership for first party Xbox hardware. So we got hardware. You heard what she just said out of her mouth, which she's just saying they're testing and and whatever, prototyping it. So I'm pretty sure they got already maybe a kind of like a dev kit beta or whatever that they have right now, like a beta, and they already sending it out to probably their first party studios, right? And they testing it out and stuff. But I'm gonna let you hear that shit again, because I want you to hear it for your own ears, so then that way you can hear it.
This is Microsoft Building 87.
in an exclusive peelback of the development process,
This is the 3D printing lab.
ooh, Xbox President Sarah Bond shows me their labs.
This is where the team is actually designing, prototyping, and testing for the next generation of Xbox.
For the next generation of Xbox.
So this is the top secret
It is top secret.
Top secret.
From 3D printers to the machine shop.
So we very, very rarely take people in here. This is the Xbox lab.
Very rarely take people in there because it's very secretive, but it's understandable, right? So, and that was like 3 months ago. Now, remember, we saw the Xbox Direct in this year, 2026. This is a video from 3 weeks ago. And what do you see right there? Those right there that it's covering up, those are next gen consoles right there, right now being tested. I know it is. And they're using an Xbox controller. And the reason why they're using the Xbox controller and not the new Xbox controller, because it's not even done designing that yet. But we already know the next gen Xbox is going to be backwards compatible Bluetooth with your old controller. So if you already have an Xbox Series X, X or S controller, it's going to work with the next gen Xbox. So you don't need to go out there and buy another controller. If you already have one, you're already set. So, but we can see right here, it's covered up. They don't want you to see it. Now, a lot of people will make the argument saying, well, that could have been a PlayStation 5 dev kit. And I'm going to prove you wrong. That is not an Xbox dev kit. It's not a PlayStation dev kit at all. But keep this in mind right here. This is about the 13 something mark. Yeah, it's about like 12, 13. But they give an answer here. I think either he said it here or somewhere, because they're going to talk about the release of the game, right? Let me go see.
Discover Japan together. As excited as we are for the game, we'll be launching on X.
Okay, so here it is. So I want you to listen to this part, right? Listen to this. Okay. Listen to this.
Features we've been working on, and that you're as excited as we are for the game. We'll be launching on Xbox and PC on the 19th of May.
On the 19th of May, they're going to be launching. Now hear this.
If you're a Forza fan on PlayStation, we'll be welcoming you to Japan later this year when our PlayStation version is ready.
Later this year when our PlayStation version is ready.
For now, though.
Okay, so you heard it. You heard it right there, right? We already see that we know those are not PlayStation dev kits, because who did the port for Forza Horizon 5 for PlayStation? Who did that port? It wasn't Playground Games. It was who? Panic Button. Panic Button did the port for this game right here, Forza Horizon 5. So what do you think they're going to be doing? They probably got Panic Button working on for Forza Horizon 6. Later this year, they're going to be getting that game ready to port it over to the PlayStation 5. Basically, because again, they're going to be releasing 2 games, right? Dropping this year, right? Which is Fable, which is underneath Playground Games, and Forza Horizon 6. So they got a lot of work on their plate. So they said, hey, you know what? If Panic Button did a good job with the Forza Horizon 5 PlayStation 5 port, no problem. I'm pretty sure they got work from Microsoft and got approval from Playground and say, hey, can we get Panic Button to port another game over there to PlayStation while we're working and focusing on Fable and getting that ready to go while we're wrapping up development for the Xbox version for PC and Xbox console, and we'll have Panic Button do that one. And I'm pretty sure they got approval to say, yeah, well, they did a good job for the PlayStation 5 version of Forza Horizon 5. Why not just use Panic Button to do that port, right? So I'm pretty sure they are doing that, because, and on top of that too, not only that, it also says right here when you go to service, and it says right here porting, but it also says what? Co-development. So basically they can work side by side with Playground Games to co-develop, and on top of that they can say, can you port this over there to PS5? So most likely Panic Button has already PS5 dev kits, so they don't need, so basically they're going to be taking care of that front. And I'm pretty sure the kits that we see right here that is hiding, which is right here,
so available in this.
Let me go pause this, because if we go back right here, and you can see it right here where they're hiding this, because there's like 2 things that they're hiding, and I'm pretty sure those are not PS5 dev kits. Those are Xbox Magnus next gen console dev kits. Yes, they are. And remember, she already just stated just 3 months ago doing a interview that these are designed, tested, and prototype. And again, she gonna say, okay, we got the prototype, it seems to be good, it's good enough, we got an idea of the power, what we're gonna use, what we're gonna do, let's go send these out to our first party studios. And I'm pretty sure Bethesda already has those kits. Playground Games definitely have those kits right now. So, and on top of that, Panic Button is going to do the porting for the Forza Horizon 6, and they're probably going to be working closely doing a co-development to port the game over to PS5. So that's already set in stone, and I think we already have the evidence right here in front of us. Now moving on to here, where Microsoft unveils new dashboard for Xbox Cloud Gaming on the web. Now, you know, Xbox is going to be making a ecosystem across on where? handheld devices, right? Their Xbox ROG Ally. They're gonna make their own in the future as well, but they did a co-design. They want to see how this works, the process and stuff like that, and then they're gonna say, okay, we already did a handheld, now we're gonna drop a console with it. Okay, that's what their plan is. Okay, but before that, like, I'm not gonna bore you to death, but I already made videos about it, but quickly I'm just going to touch on it. They have already laid the foundation. They have laid the foundation way before, right? They made the ecosystem more everywhere, right? On PC, on your, handheld, on a phone, tablet. So they already laid down the foundation for it, for that ecosystem. Now they're working on saying, let's make a dashboard that is cohesive across on every single device, no matter if it's on your Xbox ROG Ally, Ally X, whether it's on a web browser, on your tablet, on a laptop, on your PC, on your phone, it's going to look all in one. So if I finish playing a game on my handheld and I jump onto my PC, I can just literally download the game, or if I already have the game, I could just pick up where I left off from my last save and just continue playing the game. That's what their goal that they're trying to do. Make it one cohesive ecosystem on multiple devices, right? We've seen it on, again, for cloud to downloading games, streaming, whatever that you want to do. That's what their goal is trying to do, and trying to bring all those games coming together. We already see those evidence, like you see right here. You see Fable, see this, all these, and that's a 360 game. So again, they're bringing backwards compatibility as well. So again, I'm not, this is the craziest part, is because of the fact that we're seeing all of this evidence, right? We're seeing all of these evidence, right, coming together, right? They make a handheld, they're doing a console, they're doing all of this stuff, right? We know that it's going to be a console PC hybrid and all that stuff, right? Now, the last question we need to answer is, okay, we know about all this stuff and we get all this stuff, and there's some information here and there, and we know the dev kits are already out right now, and they're using it and they're testing it and they're probably developing games on there as well. All right. So my thing is, okay, but what games are they going to be releasing on the next gen Xbox console, right? What are they going to be releasing it? Remember, if we go back here, right? Let's go back from the top, because this is the evidence that I'm talking about. Remember, Nintendo released the Switch 2 release in 2025, right? Along with what games did they had, right? They had a lot of games, right? They had Mario Kart, right? They had Mario Kart World. They had Donkey Kong Bonanza, right? So these are, first party Nintendo games, right? They said, okay, we're releasing a console in 2025. Let's put games that people are going to gravitate and go out to spend money on a console, right? On their Nintendo Switch 2. So they probably thought and say, hey, let's go make a Mario Kart open world. That's going to bring people in, right? I'm not going to judge, I'm not going to really say here or there, because, we can go on and on about it all day about it. But I'm just trying to point something out here, is that the fact that, they showed a console, they showed off games in their direct, and they also launched games at launch with the Nintendo Switch 2 launching in 2025, right? So we know they're going to be launching more games in 2026. Same thing for Steam. Now, you think Steam don't make games? Like, yes, they do. Valve may make a software in the storefront, and they also are well capable of making hardware. But guess what? They also was releasing games as well. Remember the Steam VR? What game did they release for the Steam VR? Half-Life Alyx, right? They made a game for that, right? It's going to be no different from here. They've been working on games for the Steam machine and on the VR as well. And we already got a sneak peek of it, and we've seen it, like another Half-Life. It could be another Half-Life 2, Part 2 Alyx, whatever. It could be that. Or another Half-Life game. But we do know one game which they are working on, which is called Deadlock. And we heard about this game, and it's pretty much like a Team Fortress type of arena type of, I think, game and stuff, but it's really fun, is really addictive, and I think it's about well over 10,000 like concurrent players, like 10,000 or 100,000 or something like that. I don't think it's 10,000. That's too small. My bad. That's way too small. I think it was over like 100,000, you know, people are playing that game, which is crazy. And it's invite only. You got to know somebody to invite you to even play that game. But I heard it's really good, it's fun and addictive, and it's still in like closed testing phase. But if this thing is going to start coming out, I'm pretty sure that game is going to be out of whatever, whether it's in like closed beta or closed alpha. It's going to be either in early access, or it's going to get done to a more polishing game. So then they say, yeah, we got a Steam machine, but we also got this game launching, we got a VR title launching as well. So when you do pick up the Steam machine, those games are going to be in there brand new, nice and fresh, and then you can download it, play it, and enjoy yourself. Steam is doing that too, right? And it's going to be no different for PlayStation as well. When they're starting to build up their games, and I'm pretty sure they're going to go small and work their way up, but I'm pretty sure in the next couple of state of plays, in the next like couple of years, they're building up their library to build up a more bigger event and get games ready to go, ready to launch, you know, in, you know, that time frame. But they're starting small, they're doing smaller stuff, but they're also building up games for also their handheld as well, because I'm pretty sure they are paying attention in the market, and they're seeing a lot of handheld gaming is starting to go up. So it looks like, again, they got handheld stuff right here. That goes to God of War Sons of Sparta is a perfect PlayStation 6 handheld game. You know, Kendrick one, perfect for a handheld game. Like, some of these games are like pretty much closely built for a handheld, you know? So I'm pretty sure they just say, okay, we'll just release this game for now, but later on down the road, this game is going to be PS6 ready to go, handheld gaming ready to go. Boom. And they might say, hey, you know, enhance the graphics, make it better, add more levels, whatever extra goodies that they might add to it. You know how this works. But I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing. So that leads back to PlayStation. Okay, what games are they going to release for this next gen console, right? So because if we already seen that they did showcases and showing off games, they're releasing games, right? Nintendo Switch 2 is doing it. We know Steam is doing it. We know PlayStation is going to do it with their PS6. So that leads into, again, 2027. We're right around the corner, right? We're right around the corner. That's not that far away. It's like right around the corner. It's literally. So what games are they going to release in 2027 along with this console? And this is where we're going to get to the good stuff now. Now we're going to get to of the games that is going to be releasing on that. So let's start off with the first game that I do believe that is going to be releasing in 2027 along with the next gen Xbox, and that is Gears of War E-Day release window and the latest news. This one is going to be releasing in next gen console. It is not going to release this year. Okay, it's not, because the reason why, we're going to see it, I think we're going to see it during the Xbox showcase. However, it's going to be released next year, 2027. Okay, it's not ready for this year. I don't think they're not going to drop it this year because of a couple of things or a couple of reasons, right? But we'll get to that main reason, right? But I'm just going to throw this out there. But the first game is definitely going to be this one, 2027. The second game is going to be Clockwork Revolution. This one is going to be releasing in 2027, okay? A nice BioShock RPG type of game, right? It looks good, it looks promising. We didn't hear that much. We saw gameplay of it. I think we're going to see it again, but with a release date. And this time it's going to be in 2027. It's not going to release this year because of the fact that, again, this year is going to be Fable. Fable is this year. That's an RPG game. I don't think they want to put in another major RPG game. Again, they want to keep their cards and everything close to the chest. And if you didn't realize this, right? But for the Xbox Developer Direct, right? If we go back here, right? If we blow this up for a minute and we go towards the very end, right here, we see the games. They keep everything really close to the chest. And I said this in a reaction video. I said, this right here is more like they're playing it safe and they're keeping their cards close to the chest. Okay. I think they have this pretty much mapped out and say, hey, we're going to do pretty well this year. I don't think we need to do anything crazy. Let's just throw out Forza Horizon 6. That's going to be good. We're going to put out Fable probably around near like, you know, September, probably September, October season before GTA 6, way before. And I think they're pretty much all set. And they said, hey, we can make a third-party deal. Let's put Beast Reincarnation and have it on Game Pass, right? And then we'll just throw out a smaller game. But if you notice that it's a much more safer approach. I think they're going with the third-party deal, putting out 2 games that can stand out and still make money this year. Forza Horizon 6 is definitely going to be making some money because it takes place in Japan. And I feel like Fable can definitely hold its own, you know, against with the juggernaut of GTA 6. I wouldn't say it's going to overcome it, but if they put it in the right place for this release window right here, I think they're going to do okay, right? And they probably say in the summer, let's just put Beast Reincarnation, because it's going to come out in summer anyway, so we'll put it in Game Pass, we'll make a deal. So I think they're going to go with the more third-party deal, second-party deal route than worried about their first-party games. It feels very safe. They put the cards closer to the chest. That's what they're doing. That's why you don't see a big surprise or a big reveal or something crazy. I think they're, like, again, they're putting their cards closer to the chest. That's what they're doing. Right? Same thing for the state of play, right? We've seen this right here in the state of play. Not a lot of first party games. You know, let's just look at the 2 first party games right here, like exclusively on PlayStation, which is Sorrows, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go to PC at some point. And also God of War's Sons of Spartan most likely is going to be at PC at some point. I wouldn't be surprised, right? So, but if we look at these 2 games, right, they seem pretty safe, right? They're not putting out something like some major title game, like, you know, like they're gonna drop Intergalactic, The Prophet Heretic. They're not gonna drop that. They're not going to drop like a big title game. It feels like PlayStation is riding the wave of like, look, we're gonna just play it safe. We're gonna let the third party ride us out all the way through. We put out little sprinkle games. Here's our one little supposedly AAA title, really is a AA title going into a AAA title from Housemarque. And then we got God of War Sons of Spartan, a really small game and stuff like that. And they probably said, okay, these little third party games that we have, we'll let them do their little work. And then this is a partner one with Kendra, you know, Kendra 2. And we know this game is probably going to be multi-plat later on at some point. You know, maybe a year or 2 years later, it might go to other platforms. So it seems to me, again, the state of play, they're playing it safe because of what? Because of GTA 6. So they're just riding out the wave of what they got, and they're not trying to have their studios to get fully crushed. Because you could tell, like, Marathon is going to be out. This is going to be out. This is going to be most of this stuff, if not that what we know that's coming out in the near future, most of that stuff is going to release way before even GTA window during the fall season, because they don't want anything or their sales to kind of like stumble. So I'm pretty sure they said, okay, let's just put it like this. We're gonna play it safe. Same way how I feel again with the Xbox. They are playing it safe. They are putting out some games, but they're putting out games that they know is gonna make some money. But at the same time, you don't see them trying to say, yeah, we got this another big surprise and all this crazy stuff. They're playing it safe too. So that just lets me know GTA 6 is a real threat. It's a real threat. And that's where I'm sitting there saying, because I said, well, that means Gears of War E-Day most likely going to be releasing in 2027. That makes sense. Why would you have this released this year? And usually in any Xbox developer direct, usually what we see right here is what we're going to get during this year. So yes, we're going to have some surprises, maybe some third-party deals that's going to end up into the Game Pass, you know, either Ultimate and stuff, that we're going to have some surprises there. We're going to have more games going into premium game, you know, games that's going to be into the PC Game Pass, what I have. So they're going to have second-party, third-party dealings. I think we have already seen that. And like, again, we can show the proof right here. Like right now we got High on Life 2, right? That is a, you know, whatever third-party, second-party deal that they have going on, saying, yeah, you know, we want that in our library, you know, at launch. And that's what I think they're pretty much recently doing, right? Like if we look right here, we can see right here, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Half-Life 2, right? So again, we're gonna probably see more surprises of like third-party, second-party deals coming into Game Pass. I think that's how they're gonna play it, and they're just gonna release 2 titles, and that's it. And 2 Xbox first-party titles, and that's it. That's what they're gonna be playing it. And it looks like to me, because, yep, and you can see right here, we only got 2. Now, there might be some more surprises when June comes up. But again, you can see right here, another, you know, Avatar Frontier Pandora. We got this one coming up right there. So that is well confirmed. We just got to wait till Fable, where they're going to land a release date for that. We might hear that during the Xbox showcase. We're probably going to hear more of that and a release date, right? So with that being said, I think we already know those 2 games. So we know this one is not going to release because they want Fable to do well and they don't want Fable to suffer. So they probably going to push this one towards next year, 2027 is going to be ready to go. It's going to be ready to go for launch. So we're going to have Gears of War E-Day for the launch of the next gen Xbox in 2027. We're definitely going to have Clockwork Revolution releasing next year, 2027. Ready to go. Now the final game is where I was talking about, because I was mentioning this earlier, right? I said Grand Theft Auto 6 is a threat. Everybody out here is playing it safe, including Nintendo. Nintendo's also playing it safe. So it seems to me that if we already know Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be a major threat this year, everybody's playing it safe, right? Everybody's holding their cards closer to the chest. But remember what I said earlier, that all of these consoles that they launched with a game with something that is going to be some type of pull rate. Okay, I want to say not all, but you know, like again, like Valve, they can make a console or make a system, but what's the game that they're going to get people to draw in and pull them in, right? It's going to be Half-Life, right? They're going to make some type of Half-Life game, right? So if we look at Nintendo, what's going to make people go in there and play a Nintendo Switch game? Oh, they said, hey, let's just do another Mario game. We didn't do Mario Kart for a long time, so they said, let's just make a Mario Kart world, an open world one. That's something new, fresh, great idea. That might get people to go out and buy a Nintendo Switch too, right? Now, for PlayStation, we don't know. For PlayStation 6, it's still long ways away. But again, whatever that game that they're trying to build up, they're going to say, hey, we got the next, or better yet, maybe that next God of War game is not going to be launching or releasing maybe towards PlayStation 6. So they're holding on to that. They're saying, hey, we can do the remake trilogy. They might do another one, maybe the following year, whatever, and do something else. But they're probably saving that God of War, next gen God of War game. They're probably going to save it for PlayStation 6 launch. Because again, how are you going to get people to go buy a PlayStation 6, right? You need games to say, hey, I got a game over here that you might be interested, come buy our system, right? They're still doing it, right? Even though it's you know, the exclusive stuff is going away, but again, the games is what matters. Like, again, it's about the games is what you're showing, that if I'm interested in it and I like the system and stuff, I'm gonna go out there and buy it, right? So if we already know they're releasing all this, and this one is coming out in 2027 for Xbox, what game that is going to kind of rival or kind of pull away from Grand Theft Auto 6? I'll give you some time to really sit there and think about it. What game is that? You still don't know? Okay, I'll tell you. The game is going to be definitely going to be releasing in 2027 for sure. And we already talked about this, but it's going to be Elder Scrolls 6. Yes, Elder Scrolls 6 is the game that definitely can pull away some players off of GTA 6 easily. And it makes sense. So let's start off with this first. First of all, what game do we know thus far that can rival with GTA 6? There's only a handful of games, right? We know one of them is CD Projekt Red with what? Cyberpunk 2077 Part 2. They're working on that, and that's in development, right? So we know that game can pull away from GTA 6 some players away from that, because you know why? Because guess what? It's a futuristic Grand Theft Auto game, but it's even better than Grand Theft Auto itself. That's just personally my opinion on it. It's probably going to be better than Grand Theft Auto 6, right? That's just my opinion. But if you already play Cyberpunk, you already know how much detail the environments and everything else. But it has that franchise, that game, and the open world, the characters and everything else, that is going to pull away players off of GTA 6, right? That's one game, right? Now, what's another game, right? PlayStation doesn't have that type of game. Even if you look at Sony PlayStation lineup, there is not one single IP you could sit there and really say that has a real big, like, powerhouse thing that could really pull away from GTA 6. They don't have a game like that. That's why I think they're playing it safe, and they're just riding the wave of third party and kind of moving away from not stepping on, you know, Grand Theft Auto toes. They're not stepping on their toes. They want to move away from it and just throw out third party and just simple little games and just playing it safe. But even their first party IPs and the studios that they have, they don't have a game there is enough power and weight that can stand toe to toe with GTA 6. But like I said before, there's only one game or a couple of games, but Xbox has that. Xbox has a game which they already brought the studio, which is Bethesda, and that is Elder Scrolls 6. Hell, you can even say Fallout 5 can be another one as well. Can easily pull away GTA 6 easily. If they came out and say, oh yeah, we're dropping Fallout 5 tomorrow, like, people will go fucking nuts. Or imagine they can just randomly just drop Fallout 5 right next to GTA 6. Oh yeah, they'll buy both. There's gonna be gamers out there that are willing to buy both. I guarantee you. They're not gonna say, oh, I'm not gonna buy that. They're going to buy that and along with GTA 6. They're gonna do both. Okay. So don't underestimate Elder Scrolls 6, because I guarantee you that has enough weight, enough power pull to pull people away off of fucking GTA 5. Because remember, it's going to be coming out this year, 2026, which I'm keeping track of. So next year, right? If you're gonna sell a console, you need to come out here swinging. But you know what the interesting part is? that I know that this game is definitely coming out in 2027? What about that Starfield? Ah, yeah. What about that Starfield? Do you see it here in the state of play? No. Starfield wasn't even announced in this state of play. There is nothing. Now again, we know Starfield is on the way towards PlayStation, right? We ain't stupid. But what I'm saying is, Starfield didn't launch like right away, or was not ported right away towards PlayStation, right? Starfield launched in 2023. What year is it now? 2026, right? So we know Starfield is on the way for 2026. So how many years is that? So that's basically 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026. So that's basically almost 2 years and some change. 2 years and some change. So think about it for a minute. What do you think they're gonna do for Elder Scrolls 6? You know what they're gonna do? I'm gonna tell you what they're going to do. I think you already got that idea because you're like, wait, that does make sense. Even though Starfield was supposedly a failure, right? But how many copies did it sold? How many people was playing it? Hundreds, if not thousands of people brought that fucking game. On PC and Xbox, mind you. And on top of that, you got so many players was playing it well over 1,000 hours, 100 hours, 200 hours, 300 hours of playing Starfield. They was playing the fuck out of Starfield. So what do you think they're gonna do for this one? Right? I'm just saying, they got the power to do so, right? So I think that's what that's basically what their plan is, what they're going to do. They're basically saying, okay, we're gonna release our next gen, Xbox, Magnus, whatever it's going to call. We got some games, right? We got Gears of War E-Day, right? We got Clockwork Revolution, which is going to be releasing on the next gen console. And we know GTA 6 released last year, which is going to be 2026. But let's just say if it was 2027. So this year in 2027, we need a game that's going to kind of rival, or basically can go a little toe to toe with GTA 6. And that game is going to be this right here, The Elder Scrolls 6, releasing in 2027. Exclusively, a time exclusively on Xbox next gen console and on PC. That's why we got this whole Xbox PC thing going on as well. Oh yeah. I think this makes perfect sense. Again, you got to come out swinging, right? Just like Nintendo came out swinging when they showed off, oh hey, FromSoft is going to make an exclusive title for the Nintendo Switch 2, right? Just like Steam is going to say, hey, we're going to make another Half-Life game, either is it VR or a standalone project, and then whatever else games that they're working on, right? Just like we see PlayStation is going to do the same thing with PS6. They're probably gonna hold on the big guns, like another God of War, maybe another Spider-Man. They probably might hold that on. They probably say, let's hold on to those, let's work on those, and have it be a launch thing for PlayStation 6. So what's Xbox is going to do? They said, okay, we can do the same thing too. We have games here, right? We know the typical Call of Duty, right? We know Call of Duty, right, is going to release on that console, but Call of Duty ain't going to be enough, right? They're going to need some type of game that is a powerhouse. Elder Scrolls 6. We already talked about this in our last hot take, right? And I said it's going to be released late holiday 2027. And we already got confirmation that what? The Xbox console is going to release late 2027. We know they got securing the deal. We get that. So now, yeah, definitely Elder Scrolls 6 is, mark my words, Elder Scrolls 6 is definitely going to be releasing in 2027 on the next gen console. Mark this down. I guarantee you it is going to happen. I already pointed out all the evidence. We seen Starfield did the same thing. We know Starfield is on the way for PS5, but guess what? They're going to do the same thing for Elder Scrolls 6. And who knows? They might can do it for Fallout 5. Oh, make that into a time exclusive. They could do the same thing too. Makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. This makes sense. Because again, how are you going to get people to buy the next gen console? What game is going to be that? You know, we can all sit here and say all the nice things about Xbox games, but what game is really going to make people go out there and buy it? Oh yeah, Elder Scrolls 6? Of course. That's going to make people say, oh wait, that's not going to come to PS5 right away? Okay, I need to go get that console. I want to play Elder Scrolls 6. For real. That is a big powerhouse, that this IP in this franchise, and like again, don't sleep on Bethesda. This Elder Scrolls IP, Fallout IP, and even Starfield. Don't sleep on Starfield. Those 3 IPs right there is going to generate fucking money. They are nothing to sleep on. Okay? Like, I get about Cyberpunk, right? And Cyberpunk may look amazing, but there are no comparisons to Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5. Okay? I'm just saying. But that's all I got for you guys today. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this hot take. Hopefully, well, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about this? Do you think I'm right about this? Or you think I'm wrong? But it seems to me, surface level evidence here, I think I'm right on point. Because it sounds too good. We know Elder Scrolls been worked on for quite some time. We know that. It's been in development way before, even during Starfield. So we know they've been working on Elder Scrolls 6. We know they're using, generated, procedural generated worlds and stuff, right? We talked about this. And like I said, I think it's going to be ready in 2027 for sure. I think after when they do this DLC that they're working on for Starfield and they push this game out towards PlayStation 5 next year, I promise you, or sometime close, that they are going to reveal the next Elder Scrolls game is going to definitely be a release title for the next gen Xbox. Because they're going to need something to really get people invested or sold, so they need a game to do that. And how they're going to do it? They're going to do it like that, and they're going to make it time exclusive. And people ain't going to wait. Just like how GTA 6 right now, currently, nobody's not waiting for GTA 6. Now, there's certain people that are, like myself. I'm going to wait because I can easily wait for this game. It's not a big deal for me. But for most people, for a lot of people, they're not. It's the same way for this game right here. Elder Scrolls 6. Who's going to wait over there on PS5? Not a lot of people are going to wait for that. They're going to probably go out there and say, either I'm going to get a PC to get Game Pass, or they're going to go and get a next gen Xbox. Either way, they're going to want to play Elder Scrolls 6. Either way. So I think this right here is pretty smart, and I think this is what they're going to be doing. But hey, let me know down below, what do you guys think? But until next time, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.